Welcome, Totem Pole Nation, on a Wednesday evening, Wednesday afternoon, 24 hours away from Thursday night football, but we're going to change some gears up like we did last week. Wednesdays will be our recruiting videos. I think UCF football has a lot of interest, especially when it comes to recruiting. The current head coach is Gus Malzahn, who was the coach for Auburn and got let go. UCF has been a pretty decent football team. They're consistent. They weren't the same UCF team when they had Scott Frost and Josh Heupel when they weren't, undefeated a couple years back. But currently, UCF is ranked number 27 um, in the poll as far as recruiting as of right now. They have 9 4 stars and 9 3 stars. Go ahead and break down the whole UCF. What should we look for in these players, and who's the targets that might interest these UCF fans for next year?
Yeah, so like you said, 27th ranked class. They've got 9 3 stars and a handful of 4 stars. So I'm going to go through their top 5 recruits as of right now. And that starts with 4-star running back Frankie Arthur, as seen here. He's 5'10", 190. He's the 111th ranked player in the country, 5th ranked running back in the country, and the 20th best player in one of the best recruiting states in Texas. You look at him, he looks like a 40-year-old man. I don't know what he's been drinking, what's been in his milk growing up, but this dude just does not look like a high school senior. He's strong, he's fast, and it's going to be a great addition to this team that, they have good running backs now, but, they're not the same, 12-0, 11-1 team that they were for a couple years in a row, probably like 5 or 6 years back. So it's a good step getting back in the right direction, especially targeting skilled players from one of the deepest states, recruiting-wise in the country. Next, we've got Kylan Fox. He is a 4-star wide receiver. He's 6'4", 208. So big target. 147th receiver in 147th player in the country, 8th best receiver in the country, and the 18th player in another stacked state, like we talked about last week in Georgia. I think Georgia's probably the deepest state when it comes to quality recruits being ranked like 50th or whatever in the state, and they'd be a top 10 player in almost every other state. Like I said, big target on the outside. That doesn't mean he's slow, though. He can still make some stuff move on the ground. He's pretty quick for his size. And, they only have 2 reliable wide receivers right now. I'm not quite sure where they are class-wise, but, getting a guy like this is going to be an immediate playmaker. He's going to force immediate playing time. This is not a guy you have to worry about taking a red shirt year or anything. He's going to be a stud very quickly on this UCF team. Next, we've got cornerback 4-star Jalen Hayward, 5'11", 180. So, maybe a little bit undersized, but, 5'11" is still pretty good for a cornerback. You don't need him too much taller than that. 158th player in the country, 13th best corner, and the 22nd ranked player in, yet again, a super deep state, talent-wise, in Florida. That's the debate really between high school athletes is, who's got a deeper state? Is it Texas or is it Florida? Obviously, Florida's just filled with skill position guys and guys that can cover the skill positions, as in this corner right here. Nothing but great things seen on the huddle. Obviously, very surface level analysis, but I'm not a pro scout, all right? The huddle looks great, and he's going to be an immediate impact to this team as well. Next, 4-star inside lineman or interior lineman, Walt Flynn Jr. So you can see here, big boy, 6'2", 305. His composite scores, which have updated as the season's gone on, he's gone up. 285th player in the country, 19th interior lineman, and the 35th player in Georgia. I'm not going to keep saying it, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time. Georgia, probably the deepest in the country, and 35th here. He's a top 5 guy in damn near every other state in the country. Like I said, big guy. You can see it here, 305 pounds at 6'2", is a monster, and I can assume he's going to contribute pretty quickly to this O-line. This guy right here, flipped him from Pitt, 5'11", 160 pound, so a little undersized, 4-star wide receiver, Darius Farmer. Obviously, he's probably going to be more in the slot, but he's going to have to get bigger. 160 probably isn't, he's not going to be able to maintain a 160 weight and not get hurt. And maybe he's superhuman strength or whatever, but 160 is pretty small for, Power 5 D1 football. Composite score, 381st player in the country, the 58th wide receiver and 50th player from Florida. And besides these 4 stars, the rest of them are 3 stars. They've got 11 players from Florida, which is great. I talked about it last week. You want to make sure to establish your footprint. You're growing, you're recruiting from the inside out. And if you're located in Florida, there's probably not a better place to, start inside and go out if you want to build a team. And that's what it looks like they're aiming to do. They don't have like the best quarterbacks in right now. You can go to their ESPN page and look at their stats. They're throwing at like an efficient clip at around like 68 to 70%, but they've already got like 4 interceptions through 3 weeks. So they're going to need to add at the quarterback spot. They've got a 3-star already committed, but I don't know if that's going to be an immediate help or anything. So if there's anything to look for UCF for the rest of this cycle and then into their 2025 class, I think it'd be big if they added just a well-renowned, highly touted quarterback. Obviously, those are much easier to say than to come across. But, I think that's really the only thing that's going to be holding them back from getting back to where they were in years past. But that's all I've got on UCF's recruiting class as of right now. Like we said, 27th in the country. And, they just need to get a couple more 4 stars on it, or maybe add a little bit of volume, and their standing in the country will definitely go up.
Well, I mean, as of yet, like I said, this is pretty early in the recruiting process. Some guys have recruited over the summer. Some guys have recruited less than a week ago. Like I said, some of these guys are still in their senior seasons of high school football. So all the information you want to know is going to come down to in December and January. But not really too much to say about UCF football. Like I said, they're still climbing up the ranks. They're good. Nobody really talks about them, but they'll get better. I think Gus Malzahn has had the program in a steady direction. So this is it for LAMBO'S World of Sports. The next episode we'll get into is the top targets and recruits for Texas A&M. Remember, Texas A&M was the number 1 recruit in the country last year into December and January. Yes. So they fell down to what number we're going to say later, but we're going to go to the Texas A&M recruits and top targets, and we'll let you know the information as far as that. But this is it for UCF football. This is LAMBO'S World of Sports. Like I said, to all you UCF fans out there, if you like this, hop in, and because I said recruiting videos will be every Wednesday. Don't be surprised if you see your favorite team on here. But it's the Totem Pole Nation, LAMBO'S World of Sports, Sideline Sports Network. Next episode, we are going to talk about Texas A&M.